Coming. I'd like to call to order the Jeffersonville Common Council meeting for August 19, 2013. Can we please stand for invocation and the pledge?
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight and conduct city business. We pray for the council and for the mayor and his administration and all our staff that work with the city. We're thankful for them. We pray for wisdom and pray for safety. We pray that you would continue to overlook our city and bless us. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Councilperson Smith.
Present.
Councilperson Sestovny.
Here.
Councilperson Payne.
Here.
Councilperson Gill.
Here.
Councilperson Glover.
Here.
Council President Sellers.
Here.
Council Vice President Julius.
Here.
Councilperson Samuel.
Here.
Let the record show that Councilperson Owen is absent, and we have a quorum 8.
Okay. Approval of the agenda. We have 3 items that need to be removed. Under new business, we need to remove number 1, the zoning designation from Allen Applegate. We need to remove, if this is correct, Mr. Merkley, 5 and 6?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any additions?
Motion to approve with changes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the changes for the agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Minutes to be approved.
Motion to approve the August 5th, 2013 minutes. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the August 5th minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Claims to be approved.
Madam President, before she starts, I have a hand-carried claim from David Hosey in the amount of $9,500 for Veterans Parkway. Correct, David?
How much was it?
$9,500.
And what's it for Veterans Parkway? Tree.
Veterans Parkway around the railroad track.
It says remove 100 trees.
They've used about 200 really. Probably charged.
And do they remove the wood, the brush, and the stumps? Right.
CSX,
Thank you.
is that?
I was interested if they had permission.
Yeah.
I also have 2 hand carries. I've got the Wellness Coalition of Southern Indiana for $2,000. They presented to you guys a few weeks ago, and I just got the invoice. And we also have a settlement for $33,340.66.
Amy, I appreciate you sending those out earlier today so we could look at them.
You're welcome.
Do you have the new total?
I don't yet.
Okay.
I have $1,915,952.03. That's okay. $1,915,952.03.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the City of Jeff general claims in the amount of $1,915,952.03. Any other comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All
I'm
opposed?
going to abstain.
We have 1 abstention. Motion carries.
Okay.
Parks claims.
Requesting approval of parks claims in the amount of $50,498.53.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the parks claims or pre-approve the parks claims in the amount of $50,498.53. Any further questions?
I had one question, maybe it's a comment. On page 3, the sewer department, we have a number of sewer department expenses. The second one down, it says I'm rounding up, but $1,900 for Vissing Park for sewer. That just seems unbelievably high, because the restrooms are locked half the time, and that's about the only...
I imagine they've got irrigation, and unless them irrigation is metered, we're paying sewer on what
They
we
need
water
to
the
get those
grass.
metered,
Yeah, that was
and that would be
kind of
nice.
my point. I was thinking we're using
Yeah.
water for everything else, but...
And Parks Department needs to get metered. I don't think, I asked, they never did either. You know how,
Mhm.
We need to bring that up Parks meeting to get that metered somehow.
firehouses may need a meter. Do you all need washing trucks or anything like that? Firehouse?
You need to. Okay.
Thank
Is that it? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I'm
Motion-
abstaining on that one.
Another abstention? Motion carries. Okay. Mr. Holton? Oh, I'm sorry, one moment.
It'll be real quick. Just real quick, our next meeting would regularly be September 2nd,
Mhm.
and that's Labor Day, so September 3rd, and I just want to see if you all want to meet on that Tuesday, September 3rd.
Fine with me.
Let's see what's going on right there. Works for me.
Do we need a motion to change the meeting date?
Yeah.
For the next meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Labor Day on Monday, so I hope you're meeting on Tuesday.
Yes.
I'll notify it, or notice the public hearing for that Tuesday.
So I'll make a motion to move our Labor Day meeting to that Tuesday. What was the date again?
September 3rd, I believe.
September 3rd?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to move our common council meeting from Monday, September 2nd, because of the holiday, to Tuesday, September 3rd at 7 o'clock. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, sorry.
No,
I
that's
forgot
okay.
you. Mr. Hosey?
How y'all doing? Hope everybody's in good spirits tonight, because you spent a lot of money already, and I'm asking for more. I got 13 garbage trucks in my fleet. 3 of them are shot. I've talked to a couple of y'all about this. Mr. Smith's come up and looked at it, and one of them completely down. So I'd like to get one right now, maybe one next year, and one year after. However y'all want to figure this out, it's all right with me.
The one that you're talking about now, you were going to get some quotes and some information.
I did, and Louie and I, my sisters, went through all these trucks, and we'd like to get a Freightliner. It's got all the specs that we want, heavy duty. The total package with, and I'd like to also have a Loadmaster also, as far as the body's concerned. We've got one up there now that's working perfect. Drivers love it, we've had no problems with it. The mechanics know how to work on something on that truck. I don't want to really change. I'd like to stay with the same what we've got. I'd like to stay with a Freightliner and a Loadmaster body, if that's feels with you all. I mean, the whole package is $137,425.30. That's Freightliner. Peterbilt came in a little bit $3,000 cheaper, but their truck is not what we want. The other bid I got is on a Wayne body. Is this junk for $134,000.
We don't have any Wayne bodies here.
Right.
So we
Guys
don't
want to
have
work
one.
on, and what I've been told from other guys that's got, other cities and towns that's got Wayne, they just don't work properly. So this will be a 20-yard Garbage truck. Like I said, I'd like to get one now and however you want to spread these others
Dave,
out.
I'm been out of the loop a little bit. I know we need it, and I'll be supportive. I was thinking there was a conversation that the landfill was going to give us a truck if we continued to go there. Plus some dumpsters. Is that
It wasn't
not true?
negotiated.
It was not negotiated.
It didn't work out. I wasn't involved in that negotiation. To start with, didn't know anything about it until actually tonight. But the last deal that they had with them out there, we sent them back that new truck. We had to refurbish it, and we paid X amount of dollars more in the dumping fee to pay for that truck after 5 years and didn't get to keep it.
Okay.
So there was kind of a little bit of problem there with this negotiation here that I wasn't involved in. So we just got nothing.
Scott, what's the proper procedure for us to move forward on this?
Well, I think you're just looking for them to authorize you, because it's a capital expenditure, right? Or something,
Right.
Because you need to, if it's under 150,000, you can do 3 requests for proposals.
That's what I did, yeah.
Well, it's gotta go through the Board of Public Works, and you have to open it up to the Board of Public Works.
Yeah.
Okay.
All they can do is authorize a capital purchase. They're not the board that actually.
They got to figure out how to pay for it, too, where it's going to come from.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as the,
All you're asking them for them to do is appropriate the money.
yeah, they don't vote on selecting the exact vehicle. That's a Board of Public Works.
All right. I was just trying to get the okay to go with what we know what we need.
But now if something's over 150,000, then you have to go through the formal bidding process.
All right, this is not.
So they'll have to get the bids and submit the bids, close bids to me.
It's more than 50 and less than 150, it's about 3.
RFPs.
RFPs.
Or quotes, yeah, they're not bids.
By mail, you gotta wait 7 days, and you open it up at a public meeting.
So I can take these 3 and put them in,
No, you can't.
No.
No, you have to have the impact.
do what?
Can it see it on
No, they have to send the bids to the city clerk,
Quotes,
All right.
quotes, in enclosed envelopes, and then it has to be opened at the Board
All
of...
right,
You
we'll
can
do
mail
that.
those yourself.
No.
Got them here.
We
So,
we
okay.
see what's going on.
So I'll do this. Okay, I'll do that starting tomorrow. How about, okay, I got another request then. I'd like to buy a pickup truck, and it's over $5,000, supposed to have somebody okay for it. The one I'm driving, the same one we've had, it's an 06, it's got 90,000 miles on it, it's about shot. Well, I tried to keep it up, but, what do I gotta go through to get that?
Do you have that in your non-reverting fund?
Yes,
To
that's
purchase
what I'm saying.
that?
Yeah, I've already got the money in my non-reverting fund to buy it. I can trade this in, get a pretty good deal out of it, before it falls apart and have to tow it away.
you say it's in the non-reverting fund, is there an appropriation for that type of?
Amy?
Appropriation, it's got to be advertised as additional appropriation.
This is the cart before the horse.
Yeah, and
Well, he has
I
to
got the
ask
money to
anyway
pay for
before it
it,
can
but
be
I-
appropriated, so it's not.
But I can't buy anything over $5,000, I understand, without asking permission to do it, so.
Right.
But I've got the money in my budget to do it,
You have a line item that would,
yes.
It's a line item for a truck?
Appropriation or-
It's a line item for anything.
Okay. We'll let Amy look at
There's
that.
an equipment line that's got 25,000 unspent.
Yeah, but, okay, that's one, but I got the non-reverting's got 100 and something.
Cash balance is 137,000.
Yeah.
Can we add it to the list that you're presenting later, or not?
You know,
Huh?
you have an approximate amount.
Of that truck?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they quoted me a price of 31,000, but I can get it better than that. I can do them down better than that,
Well,
and plus
could
trade
we,
mine.
could we say not to exceed $30,000?
That'll work.
And then that way, it has to be below that. So if you can get them down below that to save your money, that would be...
Dave, would we be better keeping that truck would we be better keeping your truck for one of your other guys and trading an older truck in, or?
No, because I've already got 3 other ones up there we've already traded around,
Okay.
so we're in good shape, and that truck there's going $4,000 or $5,000 fixed back up.
Okay.
So it's best we go ahead and kind of slide it off to somebody else and we get something off of this new truck for this.
Don't print
What you
that
just said
paper,
publicly.
Because if somebody buys that,
Can't print nothing I sent back.
Don't print that. Please don't print that.
There's a lot of
It's being videotaped anyway, so
Anyway,
stop by your head. Len?
I'd like to trade this truck in, get a lower price on this truck.
Okay.
Because this
Do we
is
have a motion
06.
to allow him to spend up to $30,000 from his non-reverting fund?
Well,
So
let's-
appropriated.
let's talk about, Nathan just brought up a good point. If we got that much in non-reverting, we got enough to buy that garbage truck.
Well,
I think they use
that
that
money's we
for-
used to repurchase trash cans and
Cans
stuff
as
like that
well.
with. That's what
It's
that's
not
for.
used.
I mean, will you spend that this year on trash cans?
I just ordered, you remember how much that was? I just ordered 500 cans.
Should be out of trash can.
$60 a piece.
So we did
No.
it just to get everybody.
60.
We're talking about maybe 67,000 or something like that. I can't remember the number of
If it's in a good advantage.
Pay for these cans.
Trash can business. I don't know unless we're making some money.
Okay.
Well, the other trucks that you have, how many miles do they have on it? I mean, 90,000 doesn't sound like a lot of miles on a truck. I'm just kind of curious, what the other trucks, when are we looking at purchasing those trucks also?
Which ones now? You
I mean,
talking,
you
some
said
of them got
you said you've
100.
got 3 trucks that are in decent shape that you're going to keep,
Mhm.
besides this one you're looking to trade in. How many miles are on those? I
Some,
mean, guesstimate.
there's two of them's got like 130 on them, but they're the paint trucks. They don't really
Oh,
go
they're
anywhere.
they're the equipment, the ones, the
Yeah,
white ones,
they do.
utility trucks.
Right. They don't go anywhere, we still put around town in them, they're okay.
I would, Dave, I mean, just see what you can get trade-in for the truck that you're talking about. I mean, if they're not gonna give us anything for the truck, I mean, it's a Hemi truck, for something we could use around town, I don't wanna give it to somebody if we can use it for something, if
That's what I thought. Because it's a good-looking truck.
yeah, it's just
I
the
keep
guy
it good
that...
looking.
I know you do, man. Take-
But I'm just saying, if it has no
I-
value
well-
trade-in, and it's, I don't wanna give it away, because we could use it for something else possibly, because it's, it's a plain truck, but it's the Hemi truck, so.
We can do that.
I mean, just see what it gets trade-in. If it's worth something, fine. If not, there's no sense in giving it to them.
Right. Well, I wasn't going to, they didn't give me a deal on it.
Well, we got 2 things at hand. We've got the $137,000 for the Packer, and then we've also got the vehicle for his vehicle. So what would be, how do you want to move forward? Because there's 2 separate issues. I mean, I support the Packer. Amy, do you want to, are you thinking edit, or what are you thinking?
I think there's money in edit for it, yes.
Okay.
But I gotta go through the procedure.
You're going to have to go...
Yes, you're going to have to.
Yeah, first
Okay.
of all, you have to go back to work on first go through that procedure.
I think Brian will
This
help you.
council has to do additional appropriation for that 137.
I'm sorry I moved too fast for you all.
That's okay. It doesn't do any good to go through that process if we're not going to let you have the money, so.
Right,
it's a
there you
waste of
go.
time.
I just make a motion to appropriate, and I guess we have to advertise, do we
You
have
have
to?
to initiate, what
Okay.
you're voting is to initiate the...
That we take up to $137,000 out of edit to purchase a new Packer, and hopefully within the next 14 and 15, through capital expenditures, or capital purchases, we can move forward on replacing the other 2. I've went up there, I think Lisa, if you all went up and looked at the Packers, one advantage is, we have the new claw trucks, and these are 94, 96, and 97, 1994 or something trucks. But the claw truck picks up a lot of stuff that they used to pick up with the Packers, so when they put furniture and logs and debris, it actually bent the mechanism on these Packers. That's one of the problems. The claw truck eliminated that problem, so...
And the street department's getting a lot of complaints on what they're leaving the trail behind.
Yeah, the boxes are...
Those trucks they're not made to carry water. That's a complaint you're gonna get with everybody throwing milk and every other liquid they can in their trash, and then when they pack this, the truck's it's not gonna carry all this water, plus water weight of what we gotta pay for it to dump. So there's a little hole in the bottom there that lets it leak out. If it gets real bad and stinky, we'll send a sweeper up there and sweep, or if it rains, it washes it away. But there's no way we can
Could
stop that.
we go ahead and make the truck into one motion, the $30,000 for the truck?
It's two separate things.
Okay. All right, whatever. Because we've got to appropriate tonight, it's just for appropriations.
Well, this is,
Well, we'll
one
make
will come
another
out of the
motion.
edit, and the other one will come out of his line.
Yeah. We'll make
Just
it
for
up.
clarity, I think you said 137.
Up to 137, he said.
130, it was a little more than that. That's
It was,
130,
137, 425.30.
Should say not to exceed 138.
yeah.
Not to exceed. I'll rescind my motion if you rescind your second.
Thank
That
you.
we take 138, not to exceed $138,000 out of the edit fund for the purchase of a new Packer.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for us to advertise and to appropriate $138,000, not to exceed $138,000 for a new Packer out of edit. Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Now the truck.
Okay, I'll make a motion to take with, to purchase a new vehicle for the street department out of his non-reverting fund, up to
30.
$30,000. However, a little addition to that is if the truck he has no trade-in value, but it could be used for something else throughout the city, I would like to, look into that before we just give it away. But I'll leave that up to his discretion and because like I said, it's a nice looking truck and it's a Hemi truck, so it's a good truck. But I mean, not for every day, but maybe.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to allow Mr. Hosey, or for the money to be advertised and appropriated out of his non-reverting fund not to exceed $30,000. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Do I have to advertise that too?
She will
Amy will.
advertise that for you.
Okay.
You just have to go to board poker.
50,000, I mean, you don't
You
need
can
to
get three, you can get three verbal quotes.
Yeah. But as far as advertising,
that.
there's a line item already for equipment, that would be considered equipment, so it's not additional appropriation.
25,000, do you have any plans for that you want?
What's that?
You've got 25,000 appropriated in your equipment line and your non-reverting.
I don't know, I'd have to ask my secretary, 'cause I don't know if they've got something.
Okay, she does, yeah.
We can look into that.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Take it outside.
Goodness gracious.
He is a
I
mess.
appreciate you guys allowing me to speak this evening. I actually got three real quick things. I'm going to cover the two real fast ones. I have emailed you guys. In 2012, one of our fire trucks was involved in an incident. It was damaged. We're just now getting it fixed because we didn't want to take it offline until we got the new ones online. So that money that we received from the insurance company, which was in 2012, was $9,941.99. I would like for that to be appropriated out of the general fund and placed into our 101-007-363, which is equipment repair.
Amy, you did that, correct? Is
And-
that on for tonight's? Oh, okay.
I thought the council needs to hear about that, right, since it's moving funds?
Yes.
Okay. $9,941.99. The second one is related to the same thing.
We'll do the first one, just make a motion. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second for the money from the insurance for the damage to the fire truck from $9,941.99 to be appropriated out of the general fund and put into which?
101-007-363.
Thank you.
Equipment repair.
Equipment repair. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next.
Did you say 101-007-363?
What's the last three digits?
363.
Okay.
363.
That's all I know.
101-007-363, right?
Got it.
We got it.
The second one, very similar in nature. Beginning of this year, we had some people respond to Sandy. It was three of our firefighters. We were reimbursed that amount from the government for sending them for their cost. That money went also into the general fund. I need that money to be placed back into our 111 salaries fund to make payroll. It's been sitting in the general fund. Amy, that amount was 26.
It was just under $26,000 5,000. I'll look up the exact amount and add it to my.
Okay.
And that was a check that was received, I guess, March, April, after the event, so, same sort of thing, moving it from the general fund to reimburse back into the salaries, 111. So, I guess we can't do that one, Amy, until we have the exact amount?
Right.
Okay, well, I'm not running out of salary money tomorrow, just will by the end of the year, but, and then the final,
Do we have to have,
Still make that motion.
not
Can you
to
go ahead and make-
not
I didn't
to
know-
exceed?
Not to exceed the check that you received.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second.
I'll second Zach's motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve that the check that the fire received for the reimbursement regarding when they went up to help the people involved in Sandy, to be moved to the fireman's salary fund of 111 and not to exceed the amount of the check. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
okay, and now the thing on the agenda.
You're already 2 out of 3.
I know, all right, I know. The councilperson Gill and Owen and I met with Chris Gilbert from Security Pros. I approached you guys, it was earlier in the year, about security cameras in a group of items that we wanted to get done. At that time, it was, I think some of the council members were concerned about some of the coverage area. We were covering a lot of the streets at the firehouses out in front of the streets, and we went back and scaled that back to not cover so many of the surrounding intersections in front of the firehouses. And I think you had the proposal from Mr. Gilbert in front of you. I believe that price, Lisa, was about $11,000 cheaper.
Yes, it was.
$11,000-$12,000 cheaper. The monthly monitoring fee also was less, about $250. I would like to approach the council. This is something I really think would benefit us. I think with the equipment that we have and the exposure we have, both security-wise and operationally, I think it would help us at the fire department. I'd like to see if we can pursue that. I know Councilman Owen was going to talk about that, but I know he's not here tonight.
Well, I'll add a few things to that if you don't mind. I strongly support this because what we did was we took some problems that we were having at each firehouse and we made it a priority list. So we made sure that the cameras are covering the priority at each station, whether it was keeping an eye on equipment where they wouldn't steal trailers. That's a big thing that's happening around. I think Mike Smith brought that up one time. The big thing is they're stealing trailers because you can take them across the river. They don't need to be tagged. He's got a lot of equipment in from Homeland Security, like generators that can easily just leave. And we've had some incidents in the parking lots and things like that. We took the priority of each firehouse and we made that the priority and we stuck to that. So that's why we were able to get the whole package cheaper. So it does the function at each firehouse to keep the cameras on the problem areas, I guess you'd say.
Chief, I have
Yeah.
I have a
Sure.
question. On the monitoring, is that basically where it's stored, and then if there's an issue, we can go back and look at the tape? Is that basically the
And that's
monitoring?
probably that's a bad term, because it does involve that. It's the recording and going back, but it's also, from what Chris explained to me, is it's also a warranty, service warranty on the cameras themselves. In case one were to get struck by lightning, get messed with by a bird or anything sort of thing like that. So it's also it's a monitoring, but it's also a service agreement for the cameras and everything that works with it.
My only concern that I have is, even in tonight's claims, we had over, I think, $10,500 for the month in monitoring. And that include parks, that include others. I don't know if it include all the city stuff or not. And we keep adding more, which we're investing in this stuff, which is a good thing. If we buy the equipment, which we have, at some point, should we question our own IT guy and say, can we just buy a huge server here and let it all be stored? Many businesses do that. They store their own, and then if you need to go back and look at the cameras, I'm just thinking spending $10,000 to $14,000 a month adds up a lot over a year, 2 years. And if we can use the expertise from from Mr. Gilbert and security pros to help install and get the right stuff. If it's just a matter of it backing up on his servers versus ours, and then if we set aside some money for replacement for when lightning comes, and let him replace them. I mean, use them, but trying to save some of those dollars, that's just I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just a thought that's been going through my head.
So we have had cases of vandalism at the...
We've had some vehicles be tampered with at Station 4 and at Station 1.
I just, like, when I look at this, I try to think how long it would take for us to recoup, theoretically, the money that we're spending on these cameras by preventing the vandalism. I mean, we're spending $58,000 up front, plus $800 a month. That's almost $10,000 a year. I mean, how much vandalism is really done?
And I'm not that concerned, Councilman Payne, about vandalism as much as I am of some of the protection of some of the equipment that we have. You know, some of the equipment, you know, the one Homeland Security shelters that we have in the event of emergency are $30,000 shelters each. Some of the generators and other stuff, I'm more afraid of that stuff being taken. When we leave the firehouse, it's no secret. We leave with sirens and lights and horns. They know the place is vacant. We do our best to try to secure it when we leave, but I have to tell you that's a imperfect science whenever you're leaving in the middle of the night or you're leaving really quickly to say, let's lock all the doors, check everything. So I'm more concerned not so much with vandalism, and we haven't had any cases of vandalism in quite a while, as much as I am the security of some of the stuff.
I just wonder how many thieves are out there that think that our public buildings don't already have cameras, you know? I mean, I wonder how often somebody sees a fire truck leaving and thinks that's the time for me to strike, because they probably don't have cameras.
Well, you just said it in a public meeting,
Probably,
so...
Well, no, I didn't say it in a public meeting. We all said it in a public meeting. This discussion didn't even happen.
Which firehouse, do they all have
I'm sure they
the
don't check our
equipment,
city
the Homeland
website,
Security equipment?
No, the equipment, Bruce, is at 2s and 4s. 2s, 4s, and 5s, which is the two new houses on 62, and then 5s is the one on Allison Lake.
To Nathan, I'm sorry, were you done? Go ahead.
Could we just do the ones that have the equipment?
Back to Nathan's point, it seems to me, I don't disagree that we need to find some way to kind of secure this stuff. But when I look at this $800 a month, is that a contract that we've signed for 12 months, 24 months? Is it never ending? Does it have an end to this, or is it just $800 a month for service?
That was my question. I didn't, we got 12-month look like warranty on equipment, but the $800 a month, I couldn't, and I just went through it, that's what I was going to ask, what's the term?
Well, and I guess my point is, if it's going to be $800 a month and there's no contractual end, or if it does end after a year, back to Nathan's point, why can't we go back to Security Pros and say, hey, as we've added all of these services, why can't you give us a package deal for everything you're securing, instead of, well, this is the price for the parks and this is the price for the fire departments. Why can't it be this much a month to secure everything that we've got with you? Because I've got a feeling it's going to be proprietary equipment, and those feeds are only going to be able to be deciphered by
Do you know
security
how much, is this a 12-month warranty on this stuff? Or?
No, I was under the impression that as long as the monitoring fee's in place, that he services the equipment if anything was to go wrong. I think the 12 months is on the actual manufacturing warranty on the cameras. But as long as we're doing that, he explained to us that was a monitoring fee and a maintenance fee. But Councilman Julius and I talked last week about the same sort of thing, Brian, in the way of it seems like with the amount of quantity that we're going to have now, that there would be an internal way or some sort of group package that we would be able to bundle for all the departments. I think all the departments may have some sort of monitoring between, it's not just the police and the parks, but also I think there's several other departments, waste management and city garage, maintenance. So I would think there's got to be a way to bundle that stuff.
As I read this, it says what we get is the surveillance retrieval which is if we need to go back and look, it gets an annual inspection of the equipment and upgrades onto the software. Equipment replacement agreement, parentheses, under manufacturer's warranty.
And
So
under-
only if the manufacturer warranty, so
Under
we would
warranty-
have to replace it ourselves.
Under warranty, column 3, it's 12 months.
Yeah, so,
So it looks like it's 12 months replacement on the cameras, so.
yeah.
Or equipment.
I think that
So,
I'm still a little confused on exactly what Nathan just read in the way of that. If you say, from what Chris told me, the monitoring device will be at Station 2 in his plan, that if I could go back and monitor it and the monitoring's a little vague, and what Dennis and I talked about, I'm sure they don't have somebody down at Security Pros that's sitting there watching all those cameras. You bring something up like we did at the fireboat, he goes back and finds it. We had some vandalism down there, and goes back and finds it, and then locate, but as far as a live monitoring, I think that's not accurate. From that actual Security Pros, I think
Well,
they,
what I might suggest is a couple of us meet with Chris. He's very in tune with what's going on. He carries most of our contracts. Why don't a couple of us take it upon ourselves? This is not an emergency that has to happen this week. We might learn something by talking to Chris and telling him what our feelings are here, and see if we can't learn something and become his partner as well.
It'd be interesting to get a list of what do we actually pay now per month, per year.
Break it down.
Yeah, I mean, what I think, because we got the police department, which will probably be monitored.
Sure.
I mean, this is going to be, we're going to spend
Well,
hundreds
you
of
know,
thousands.
what I was talking to Lisa and Connie about last week was, when we were talking about this, is if we're going to continue to grow this, then we almost have to budget for next year, because maybe it's not the fire department. If we put a new park on, or we put another department on here, what can we afford? What percentage of growth can we afford next year?
Well, I think, as Eric mentioned too, there is quite a bit, I'm not going to say a lot, of people that the boats are vandalized, and it mostly has to do with lighting. But if we spend $2.5 million on a marina and open it all up with the boats and stuff, I mean, are we going to look into monitoring that? So where does it end? I mean, we need to come together with some type of an annual percentage. We're going to spend this much money and that's it, or something, I think. I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't mean to draw this out. The only other thing I would say is on this, if we're going to spend this kind of money for security and for monitoring, have we looked into any savings that this offers to our insurance? I mean, I know when you get ADT installed at your house, it lowers your homeowner's insurance premium, so I don't know why we can't get a break on our insurance if we can shop around and do that. So I don't disagree with it, but I think it's just something that if we continue to monitor these things,
there should
what are
be
we getting in return?
Right.
So
Should be some residual benefit. But,
Unless we've approached our insurance company on all these cameras, they probably don't know we're doing
have
it
no clue.
anyway.
Have no
So
clue.
that would be, if you put together a couple people to look into this, also contact our insurance company and let them know what we're doing and see what's there.
I just wrote a note. Who else would want to get on that? A couple people.
I'd be glad to meet with you.
You want to do it, Nathan?
well,
All right, so
look
you
so
three
excited.
can get together. You guys can get
We
together.
can.
and just-
Can
you, Eric.
I make a motion just to postpone this until the 3?
Well, I don't think
Okay.
there's any motion
Okay.
needed, it's just, no, there's no
Dennis,
motion.
one other person, I know he's not here tonight, but I know Matt has a lot of experience in looking at some of that stuff through some of his other facilities.
I'll say
Fire department, so. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions for the fire department or anything?
I was
I wanted to mention one more thing, and I promise I'll be gone. Muscatatuck exercise, September 25th and 26th. I think I sent all you guys an invite to that. It's a really good thing to see. It's really, it's high speed. It's one of the best training facilities in the world.
What was the date of the viewing of that? Do you remember?
25th.
25th.
And on the 26th is the actual live training that,
Live training is the 25th and the 26th. It's 2 days. We're actually training 2 days this year.
but I think we were only invited on the 25th, is that correct? Is that when?
Gosh, it's on that invite. I thought it was the 25th.
Okay.
Could you resend it to us?
Yeah,
Yeah, could you send it to us, because we always make sure that that's on the calendar for them also.
okay. Yeah, but I'll resend that to all the council and to you, Vicki. All right, thank you.
Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Lewis?
Going on with them cameras, I don't get it. Who else does it, sewer department usually?
Yes, this item on the agenda is ordinance 2013 OR-25. This was passed on first and second reading at our last meeting. And to remind everyone, this is just a simple ordinance amending prior ordinance number 2012 OR-24 to amend the Visiting Park non-reverting fund to include the Worley Athletic Complex construction project, so the funds could be brought into the non-reverting fund, and then the construction cost will be paid from this particular fund. So it's presented for a third reading tonight.
Make a motion to pass 2013 OR-25 in the third and final reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to pass ordinance 2013 OR-25 on the third and final reading. Any other questions, discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Deering?
I don't know if it means anything, but it's interesting.
Requesting approval on the third and final reading for 2013 OR-28. This is transfers between the same department, different series.
Yeah. We need to remove, I talked with her about this on the Planning and Zoning Code Enforcement Board. That's a board that was established under the Unsafe Building Fund, and its demos and all that's supposed to go before the board. It's inactive, and it was mostly made up of department heads, so there shouldn't be any funding. I don't know what that $40 is for.
Okay.
So remove the 40.
Mhm. What? Oh, never, yeah, it was done, it was never established. Well, there was a reason. Trust me.
So where's that $40 going to move to?
I don't know where it came from.
Transfer to Brian Glover?
See, I didn't know they were trying to say that each
Give it to the
board
animal
member got
shelter.
$40 or whatever, but it's not a board, there's not one.
Must be one board member.
So, I didn't know what it was from.
When do we appoint that board?
I'll research that and see what it is and shoot
Well,
you out an email.
it's designated who serves on it, so.
Okay.
Motion approved with changes on third reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2013 OR-28 on third and final reading. Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. New business, Ms. Deering? Yeah, the first one got taken away.
This is a resolution to initiate special appropriation. We have added several items. I think Vicki's got them all on her master sheet. And I don't know if this is when you want Charlie to come up and speak about his
Yes.
additional.
If his things are on here, this is what...
They are.
This is what the animal shelter, and I told you that he was going to have to come and talk before us, and he's here.
My name is Charlie Hebron. I'm the director of the J.B. Olga Animal Shelter, and I've not had a chance to meet a lot of you, so I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm asking for an additional $71,000 to finish out the year. I've moved $35,000 around in my budget already within the same line items to cover some of the expenditures already. When I came in to the shelter in June, over 60% of the budget was already gone. So the last 2 months, I've only spent 12% of my budget, so I've got a hold of it. But for me to make it the rest of the year, most of my expenditures that I'm asking for is salaries and utilities. and vet services to take care of the animals. Moved everything else around that I could that I don't need for the rest of the year to cover as much as I can. And I have like $2,600, you have the sheet in front of you, that I have in donation line item that we can move as well to cover some in those line items. I've also been talking with council Ms. Sellers about some things about the shelter and Ms. Gill. You know, I've done everything I can to cover as much as I can with the budget, but for the shelter to make it the rest of the year, I'm going to need about $71,000 to finish out the year.
Yeah, he had a lot of overtime when he came in. It was over $26,000 in the first 6 months, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
And it blew their budget. Plus the fact that the drugs that they are now purchasing for the animals, which has never been done before and should have been done for preventative care, all that costs is...
We've spent, we do a lot of spay and neutering. We send a lot of the shelter animals to the SNP clinic. We have a vet that comes in once a week as well. So those are a lot of accumulated expenses. We spent somewhere around $40,000 this year just on care of the animals. So I'm looking at ways to cut that back and to do things different. But, you know, for me, it's going to take a little bit of time to come up with some proactive plans, which we are working on to solve some of these issues so we can get a hold of and cut back on some of our budget expenditures.
Right. And he has some good ideas on funding and how to raise money, and we've talked about this. And it would be nice if we could get some groups, like New Albany has a wonderful association for the animals, and they donate a lot of money to the Floyd County Animal Shelter, and we would like that too.
Yeah, and we're looking at ways. There's all kinds of grant money that I'm going to be looking into to get things taken care of, free money, free training for the staff. There are a lot of programs out there for shelters. It's just going to take a little bit of time to get those proactive to this shelter to get it going to where it's not costing the city and the county so much money. And we've, you know, if you look on the sheet, between what the county has given this year and the money that we've taken in, we've deposited somewhere over $100,000 this year into the general fund up to today.
So I guess it would be out of line for us to ask the county to have some input on this
There is not an agreement. There's not an agreement with the county, and until that agreement is written out and there is a interlocal agreement, the county, because not only would you have to ask the county, it's Clarksville, it's Sellersburg, it's Charlestown, it's Borden, it's all of them that you would have to ask, not just the county. So.
So the total was 78.
It's $71,850.45.
Is what we're short, and you said that's going to carry you through 2013.
Yes, sir. That'll finish out this year.
And you don't foresee this again in 2014, correct?
I asked for some new things in the next year's budget, some new staffing. I've asked for a little extra help in the staffing, a little extra money in the vet care process as well.
Do you have an average cost that you spend on a cat or a dog when it comes in the shelter from the time it walks in the door to the time it leaves? What's the average cost?
I could not tell you at this point. I have not.
Ballpark, do we know? $150, $200?
I would say somewhere around there. Time I pay the vet, time we put the vaccinations into the animal. Of course, we get all of our food donated, but you know, you got to take the cleaning chemicals, the staff that we pay to take care of the animals, the water, the electricity, everything we use in that building.
And how much of that $200 do we recoup in an adoption?
Right now, the fees are $100 for a male dog, $125 for a female, and $40 for cats, but we're looking to change those. I've upped adoption fees since I've been there. I've upped some other fees to help offset some cost, but I'm looking at with the new ordinances that we're working on getting done before the end of the year, we're looking at more revenue. The city doesn't even have a license program yet. There's somewhere between $25,000 to $30,000 just in that revenue, or even more, bringing revenue in that way. We're looking at the citations. Where does the money go when someone's cited for allowing their animals to run at large? There's ways of bringing that money back to the shelter as well. So there's a lot of proactive things I'm working on. I just have to get them going. You know, I've been here just over 3 months.
Now, with the increase in adoption fees, have you seen a decrease in adoptions?
No, actually, the adoptions have gone up. Just in the last 3 months, we've taken in over $11,000 between donations, general fund, and spay and neuter fund.
They've really been doing a good job of
Mhm.
putting the dogs on Facebook and really getting their
Yeah, we're really
pictures out
becoming
there.
social media.
Really being an advocate for them.
Is our adoption rate, and I don't mean to drill down in this, I'm
No,
just
sir.
trying to look for answers moving forward. Is our adoption rate competitive with other communities? Are we lower, are we higher?
We're actually lower. Kentucky Humane Society charges $250 for a puppy. They charge for purebreds $300. So right now, we're only charging $125 maximum. So we're looking to do some things different. I'm looking to,
But those are changes that will come. I mean,
Yes.
it's like you said,
Yes.
you've only been here 3 months, and he's trying to change a mindset that has been for years in
Yeah.
this county.
Oh, I'm not, this is not a, you know,
That's right. I
questioning
understand.
of you. I'm just trying to think out of the box here, that if we're $71,000 short, how do we prevent that from next year? What are some things we can do? So I'm just,
well, some of the things I'm looking at is to become more proactive. I think the city and county has been so reactive that we've always been behind the 8 ball at the shelter, that they're always playing catch-up instead of being forward and saying, let's do some proactive programs. And, you know, once we get our volunteer base going, that'll help with staffing, because you'll get your volunteers to do a lot.
never has been.
We're trying to get out more in the community. We just did, I'm getting ready to go do some events just to get the shelter out there, to ask for donations, to ask for the public to volunteer at the shelter, which will help offset some of the cost of employees, overtime, and things like that. But it's becoming more proactive. You know, you got to think about it. In the backyard of here, we got Kentucky Humane Society and New Albany Floyd County, who have adoption centers in Clark County. So we have to become more proactive than they are to get our name out there and to attend. We just went to Tractor Supply. We just did an event Saturday with them, and we sent some volunteers to Corden to advertise the J.B. Ogle Animal Shelter.
I have a question. I know that when when Floyd County came to Clark County, and they were originally in Green Tree Mall, they asked our shelter to be a part of that, and they declined.
Yes.
Would they be willing for us to go back in with them and become involved
I'm
with
going to be
them?
talking with David Hollow. They've got some training courses coming up. I just got an email about they were going to participate in. I'm looking to build relationships. I want to build a relationship with the Kentucky Humane Society. They work with the SPCA, who gives free grant money. So I'm looking into all these to build these relationships so we can get more into the community. You know, I think the shelter has just been so quiet, unless it was negative press. And so now we're trying to make it a more of a positive swing to where people want to come to the shelter. Traffic flow has increased. I've opened us back up 5 days a week. We're communicating more, we're answering the phones more. I just got a couple of congratulations from some city employees for animal control doing a wonderful job in helping them with problems. So we're doing a lot more proactive, but again, it's changing the mindset. Everybody, it's just not a dog pound.
Right. Right. And I want to thank you, because I can see the difference, so thank you.
I appreciate the city and everybody's support.
Right.
And if you look, I've show you all the line items that I'm asking the money to go into. And there was one other thing that,
There's one other thing I want to say, too, about the electric, the utility bills. Under the previous controller, those were zero, and they were paying in the it was actually in the negative. And so these are funds that weren't even funded, and he's asking to be funded so they stay out of the negative. Yes, we have that problem with Sarah, because she would come and say, I need money in here, and it was an
yeah,
issue.
when I came in, all the utility bills were in a negative account except for the gas bill.
Yep. So anyway.
And then I got on the sheet also, I'd like to transfer revenue from the spay and neuter account into the account to pay the voucher system, to pay out. And I've deposited somewhere around $26,000 this year into that account.
And we need to look at that, because that's set up odd. It should automatically go back into that account, I would think. I'm not sure why it doesn't.
Revenues aren't really departmentalized, they're at the fund level, but we would have to ask for it to be appropriated. But the cash is there to support it. I'm just
Right.
checking that out.
Amy, are you recommended to pull this out of general, or what?
Yeah, it's there, we've got it.
I'll make a motion to approve the, what was it, 71,850.45?
Second.
Have a motion and second to approve the 71,000.
Well, that's not the whole
Oh,
appropriation.
Yeah, that's not the whole thing. We need to do the whole
Resolution
thing.
number?
23.
I don't know.
I added up what it's in here and it matches exactly what it says.
Okay. Is the police coming out of general? I thought it was coming out of Floyd, the overtime. Yeah, I thought, Amy, I thought that the police overtime was coming out of Floyd. Is that what we talked about, Chris, the other night? Is it coming out of general?
That it's 25, 23.
But you said you needed 100,000 more.
We talked about it in the new law.
Yeah, okay, that's something else, okay.
I must have the old sheet, because you've got the one.
Here, do you want to look at mine?
No, that's
There
okay,
was,
yours says police overtime, mine says fire overtime.
Yeah.
We got the email today, I just,
No, I handed it out.
I maybe.
It's probably underneath there.
That has it. We didn't get them till late. After the packets were already.
What, do you want to wait on this then?
No,
No, they need it now.
Because they've got to have it.
Well, then are we approving the whole, the
Yes.
resolution? Make a motion to approve resolution 2013 R23.
Second?
I have a motion and second to approve resolution number 2013 OR 23. And this is an ordinance to initiate special appropriation. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
I had one other thing. Is it possible that we can also appropriate the 26,941 into the spay and neuter fund as well? It wasn't on this original schedule. I just
And this money we've got, we're just moving it.
It is. We've got a cash balance of $35,950 in that fund, so it's there.
Is that, and I hate to even say this, is that the money that has been donated and...
No, this is the money that they get from like the golf.
It's the golf scramble. If someone comes in and pays the $100 to adopt,
Okay.
we split the money, half of it goes to spay and neuter, half goes to children.
Okay. You remember our conversation earlier, Amy, that we had earlier this year where there was
That was.
some question as to
Yes.
where, okay, I just want to make sure it wasn't that money.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're adding that to this?
If they want to approve it, it's 26,941. The appropriation number is 210,021,300.
It's already in his, it already belongs to the animal shelter. It's it's the money they collect for
So what
fundraisers.
is it for?
It's the spay and neuter.
So it'll be spayed and neutered?
Yes.
Just have to add this in. And, I'm sorry again, what was it, 26,000?
941.
I'm sorry, thank you.
It's okay.
So do I have a motion to add that into this resolution?
You want me to amend my motion?
Yeah.
Voted on it, right?
So
We'll
he's got
amend-
to amend it first.
2013 R23 to include 26,941 from spay and neuter to be transferred.
We need to vote on, if we can amend it, and then vote on the
Well, I
final
mean, I
one.
think the cleanest way, because you've already voted on the resolution.
Do it another way.
Just do a motion just to add whatever
Add
the
it.
amount is, add it into.
Are we adding it to
Yes.
resolution, the same
Right.
resolution?
Yes,
You're
right.
initiating- You're just voting to initiate the appropriation.
Okay.
Add it to initiate.
Good, thank you.
All right.
I'll second what Dennis said. Scott clarified.
I have a motion and a second to have the spay neuter amount of 26,941 and just add it into this appropriation. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. I just have one other question. I'm going to be wrapping up with the ordinances. How do I go about presenting those? Thank you.
You're still up, Amy.
We ready for the next one?
Yep.
Okay. What you have before you now is ordinance of additional appropriation. This resolution to advertise was approved at the prior meeting, and there are no changes. It was published in the News and Tribune 11 days ago.
we need to add anything to this from earlier or anything?
From the, oh, no, we can't, because this has already been advertised.
A number,
29?
motion approved 2013 OR 29.
Second.
On first reading only?
First and second.
First and second. I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2013 OR 29, first and second reading. Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Why do I have two of them?
That is
One of them.
also,
Oh, this one's not one.
It's been adjusted, yeah, 2369.
Okay, Mr. Merkley.
Before you is an ordinance designating a certain area along Veterans Parkway as an economic development target area. Under the Indiana statute, the redevelopment statutes, certain areas can be designated an economic development target area to give the city council and the redevelopment commission more flexibility and more possibilities of what they can do to encourage and entice development. This is an area of approximately 16 to 17 acres on the north side of Veterans Parkway. The petition was made by the property owner. The Economic Development Commission met last Friday afternoon at a public meeting and certified and recommended to the City Council to adopt this ordinance designating this area an economic development target area. That's what's before you. Redevelopment Commission and the administration would ask the council consider adopting this on all three readings tonight.
And Mr. Merkley, the developer is
Yes.
very supportive of this.
Yes.
I'll make a motion in anticipation of all three readings.
Suspend the rules.
Suspend the rules.
Suspend the rules.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second in anticipation of passing this ordinance on all three readings to suspend the rules. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to approve 2013 OR 30 on all three readings.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to pass ordinance 2013 OR 30 on all three readings. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
And I think that's it. Do we have any public comment?
I saw somebody.
Yeah, somebody signed that. That lady that was here.
Ms. Muncy? No? No comments? With that being said, council comments. Mr. Smith?
Just something that I would like the council to think about. Several years ago, during the big annexation, the city of Jeffersonville set money aside to purchase totes or garbage cans, and we did that because there was such a large demand on them cans that we ordered trailer loads of them, and we sold them basically at cost. And if you look at the price of the cans, by the time we assembled them and delivered the cans, it actually cost us money. So tonight we was talking a little bit about the garbage cans and the fund, and I think at some point I would like for the council to consider about eliminating that. The only reason it was put in there was to buy them for the demand that was going to be required. So I will talk to the street commissioner, Hosey, about it a little bit, but we didn't, that was something that was put in as a temporary thing.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't designed to make money.
Nope.
Actually, it cost us money, but it was designed convenience because we was buying thousands, I don't know how many totes at a time.
And I think it was also done for uniformity's sake, to make sure everybody had the same can.
And I think so at some point we would probably need to look into, we want to continue that. The intent was to get it up and running and make it uniform, as President Sellers said, but it was never intended because it's a money loser. We lose money per tote.
That's
So-
something we need to talk to the...
Yep, we'll talk to street commissioner a little bit about it and stuff, but at some point we may want to. We're not in the garbage can business. We don't need to be competing with other businesses that do make money on garbage cans. So, something to think about. That's all. Thank you.
Councilperson Sosnian?
Yeah, I have a question and a comment. The question is, did we send the letter to the Fire Museum and to the arts folks?
I went through less on that. To read it back, yeah.
So they were notified that,
Yeah, We actually met last week. I met with Les, and met from the outside counsel, Buddy Downs from Weiss Miller, to kind of give an opinion about the legalities of, without getting, because I think it's going to be a legal issue, so I mean,
Okay.
yeah, there's a gray area according to Weiss Miller about the interpretation.
But as far as...
Okay, I think
as far
that's
as the-
good.
Yeah, as far as the leases being...
Our position is we're contesting that, but then I think the position...
Was the letter sent? That's all we want to know. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, the...
Putting them on notice that their procedure, because we believe that they're...
Yeah, because there's two points. Right, there's 2 points. One is the procedure, the other one is the plan.
Exactly, there's 2 points that we're contesting that on.
Okay. Well, in that regard, I wanted to just bring something up, because I support the arts, and I think it'd be great for us to have an arts district. But I think we're going about it wrong. I think we're putting the cart ahead of the horse. You know, one city that I think's done it right is Columbus, Indiana. And you can go online and find out how they did it. And I wish we would consider doing the same thing, just slow down a little bit and do it right. Columbus has, when they started this, they put together the Columbus Arts District Strategic Plan. And the information, again, is online. But what they did is the strategic plan outlines the visions and goals of the Columbus Art District, highlights the benefits of the well-developed district, discusses the opportunity to build upon the strong foundation of art, architecture, culture, infrastructure in downtown Columbus. And then it goes on to say how they went about doing it, which was the mayor convened a public-private coalition to implement a strategic plan and managed the development of the Columbus Art District, consisted of 11 members representing a diverse group of stakeholders, organizations, and residents. And it goes on to talk about that. I wish that that's something that we would do and that redevelopment would do before they start signing leases, because I think what we need to do is define what area is going to be the art district, who qualifies for special leases or resources, because if you don't set up qualifications and procedures, then what is art and who can go there, and what is a historical museum? You know, do you open up for the fire department and fire museum? Do you have a police museum? You open up to something cultural, I don't know, Italian or African American museums, then how can you say no to the Polish museum? I mean, you need to have some kind of qualifications and process in place.
Right.
So I hope, and I know that the mayor wants to move forward with it. I think it's a great idea, but we need to slow down and do it right.
Yeah, and just so you know, I did forward that link to the redevelopment director, Rob Ways, months ago. So he is aware of that.
Thanks.
No comment.
Councilperson Gill?
Oh, I just wanted to publicly thank Steel Dynamics. They stepped up once again with city pride. We were under the gun in getting the flagpole and some landscape moved to get out of the way of the bridge. We would have lost it had they not stepped up and helped get all that moved. So I just wanted to, you know, when a business steps up like that, I just want to publicly thank them. And I also want to thank the fire department, the police department, the street department, all the city that really helped make National Night Out. It was a huge success, and everything went smoothly. We had a lot of participation at every event, and I just wanted to thank you guys for helping us with all that. That's all.
Okay. Councilperson Glover?
Nothing.
Councilperson Julius?
I got a couple things. One was National Night Out. One interesting thing that we found out over on Flagstaff, or not Flagstaff, Flintlock, in that subdivision. It was an annexed area, and we put money in every year for hydrants, and they were really complaining that they don't have any in that neighborhood, so it might be something for us to call the fire department attention to. I saw David Hosey's new tractor out today, the one that we appropriated about a month ago. It's a hog. I'm telling you, it takes up half the road. But it's a big one. It does a good job. Stopped in Station 2's, saw one of our new fire trucks, took a tour of it. It is really sharp, and if anybody gets the opportunity to do that, it's quite a vehicle. We were participants with the Veterans Wall this week in Clarksville. Really, I don't think it's going to come back for quite a while, but it was really a neat thing to be involved with. So
That's it.
Councilperson Samuel?
I actually have a slideshow,
Uh-oh.
and I'm going to be quick.
Start sliding.
Okay, I guess I need to move.
Hopefully this will
Well, I'm moving right in the way.
Hopefully this will work out for us. I'll have to click it.
You got the wrong city. That says St. Louis.
On August the 10th, Saturday ago, there was a number of us that took a trip to St. Louis to see the City Museum as well as City Gardens. Part of that trip, part of the folks that participated in that trip, the trip included tourism, the Clark County Museum, City Pride, Jeff's Arts Alliance, our city planning director, and then myself. So a good group of people went up there to check that out, and we'll give the tourism, Jim Keith from Tourism, a big thank you because he provided the transportation, so he had a little bit of skin in the game. I did sit in the back. Here we are traveling up, headed to. I knew it was going to happen. Where's my thing?
You can't give him it.
I knew it. No way. Okay. I'll just click it. Okay. We stopped at a place called Soulard, S-O-U-L-A-R-D. It's just a suburb of St. Louis, just on the outskirts. This is some of their downtown they reclaimed. Some of that's the best barbecue place I ever ate, right there on the corner. The line was down along the line. This is the back side of some of the buildings there. They turned little gardens. That's a wine garden, I believe, there. This is still in the same area. This is some of the side of the buildings. That was a really neat area. They did have a farmer's market there as well. I didn't get that picture. But that was just a really unique place we stopped at. Now there's some shots of the city garden. This is about a 2-block area, just strictly a garden downtown, right downtown St. Louis. It's not really large, kind of narrow, but you see how much they got in this little park area. That's not a good angle of that statue, but that's a little kind of a funky statue. You can go in that and look out the eyes, and it's got a water feature with it, kind of unique. Just some of their various art they had. They also had the plants. That's a fountain over there, and really the neat thing about that is usually when you go places they encourage you to stay off the grass, stay off whatever. In this park, it was interactive. They wanted you to get everywhere. They wanted you to climb on things. They let all the kids get in the water. It was really neat. Just notice all the people. I want to show you the size of this. That's our planning and zoning director, by the way. But the next picture, see how large that is. He just went up to the inner thigh of Pinocchio there. They had a number of these vendor trucks for food and drink. They also had the little art sign there on the left you see in downtown Indianapolis that they just walk. They had 2 of those. This is a screen they had on the wall. It's a huge screen, and you can't really tell the depth, but those are steps that you got to climb up, pretty large steps. And if you walk up close to the screen, there's a camera that you can see yourself on that screen. So it encourages little kids to run up there and climb and be active, and it's pretty cool. On the left side, they had a birthday party going on, so they don't have birthday parties in the park. This is another one of the things. Again, that's your planning and zoning director climbing on the art. Little.
Him again?
No, I think he pushed them off to get on this, though. But that's just another example. That's a shot at one end looking back at kind of down the line. If you look in the background, you see a lot of people. People were everywhere with their kids all over that place. It was really interesting. Just a couple comments I'll make. In the public spaces, there was plenty of seating. The landscaping was accessible to people. The art was accessible. The spaces were divided into smaller spaces. I won't read it all for you. Actually, we have a written report, but we try to learn from our experience. On the way back, we're trying to jot all these down. The art was very durable, and which was key. At the first place we went to, we have some information. What was really neat is the parking. It was packed with people, but instead of having, they had parking different directions. On one side of the street, you angle parked. On the other side of the street, you parallel parked, and it allowed for a lot more room. And we try to take notice of stuff like that and bring those ideas back. But it was, both the places were just really overwhelming with people, and our group really saw a smaller version of that here in Jeff, from the standpoint of having these around different places and what we could do with Jeff. You know, we're about to have our large great lawn, if you will, on our side of the Big Four Bridge, and trying to incorporate some different things into that potentially. It was a real positive trip, and I wanted to make you guys aware that we're trying to work together. I figured trying to bring tourism into the group, they have some potential funding as well, and it was a good trip. The other thing I wanted to mention is, and I've talked to I think everyone about this. I would like to ask Scott for our next meeting to put together an ordinance to develop a non-reverting fund for an arts, I guess just for the arts, and I can connect with you on that, but I want to make everybody aware of that. The UEZ is putting in some dollars. The council is supportive of putting in some dollars, and we're communicating with redevelopment as well to put in some dollars to help get this arts administrator piece going for Jeff, and there'll be more information about that, but I want to try to get that set up and started because I think we're about to hit the ground running very soon with some great ideas. And then also, Vicki, if we could put on our next meeting, I want to have a report from our the Jeffersonville Public Art Committee. We have a project coming up that we want to do with our signal boxes. I think that's the next big one that we want to roll out even before we get an art administrator in place. So we'll have a better report maybe next week on that. But there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes, a lot of efforts being put into it, and after seeing these places, it's really going to draw people and be a real positive thing for our city, I think. So that's all I have, Connie.
Connie, I had one more thing to add, I'm sorry. Lisa and probably a week ago, went to a police training. Josh, what was that called?
It's a use of force training simulator.
Yeah, it was a simulator screen like this, and they go through scenarios, kind of live action. They use their own firearms with recoil things in them. It's pretty neat. It's amazing the technology that is available, but we set in for that for an hour and a half or so. It's pretty interesting.
Provide some good training for our officers.
Yeah.
Real good training.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. If there's nothing else, to have a motion to adjourn?
Second.